How's it going, folks? It's BFS Bravo here. Some of you have been asking what do I use in terms of fishing, what's my arsenal of lures, hooks, things like that. So today, I'd like to share what I like to use. I'm gonna call this What's in the Bag. So, let's go into the bag, shall we? A lot of stuff, so bear with me. But we'll do a general thing of what I like to use personally. Quite a few things, nothing too crazy, but definitely something I do quite a bit here. So, where shall I start, shall we? I'll probably start with my go-to lure. That's the Jackal Eye Shad. I use the 2.8 inch, as you can see right here. And my personal favorite color, it's basically a light green color. They call it blue pearl shad. And as you can see right here, it's kind of like a greenish blue. Has some green flake in there with some sparkle. Has like a slight bluish tinge to it. The bass where I like to fish seem to like this a lot, no matter what time of the year, even in the dead of winter. Mind you, it's slow, but I still catch them regardless with this particular bait. So definitely my go-to. Another one of my favorites that works very well too. Unfortunately, they discontinued making these. I really don't know why. Guess they didn't sell enough of them. I don't know. But that is the Gary Yamamoto 2-inch Yamamoto shad. So right here are the Yamamino, as they like to call it, rather. And this particular color I like a lot. So it's a white, blue, white, pearl hologram color. Very tiny. It's a very subtle shad profile. But what's so great about this, as you can see, the tail just has such a great little shinny to it. Works great. I use a weightless with a number 4 size offset white gap hook. Works really good. I can cast these things weightless, no problem. And the beauty of these guys right here, because they're Yamamoto baits, as you all know about Yamamotos, they have a lot of salt in them. So they have good weight to them. They have such a great subtle shimmy action to them. But the downside is, of course, with Yamamoto baits, they're not the most durable, but hey, if they catch the fish, then so be it. That's just the trade-off if you want to catch more fish, at least for me, that's fine with me. And then one of my other favorite lures, or soft plastics rather I should use, or say, and that is, of course, Kitech 2-inch Easy Shads. Love these guys, love these guys. They work especially well for the summer, warmer months when the fish are a little more active and they want that faster moving kind of presentation. With these guys, I use a 1/32 ounce jig head, just a lead head or tungsten head, or whichever works for you, with a size 6 hook. That's a great little setup. I catch them all the time in the hotter months when the fish are more active, of course. So that always works, can't go wrong. And then another little guy that I really like to use on a 1/32 ounce jig head, same hook, same jig size. What are these little guys called? Kind of hard to see. These are the Demiki, they call them Bing shads. Very tiny little 2-inch bait. And these are great because I use these on a jig head personally, but they do really well on a drop shot if you want to use drop shot setup, which, don't get me wrong, it works, but I don't use it all that often. I have better luck on the jig head setups. And those work great. Very nice action, very subtle. You could straight swim them, you could jig them, drop shot them. They just excel at a lot of different things if you need to. Another one of my little personal favorites, of course, these are all things that work for me. They're tried and true. And right here, these are the Berkeley Power Bait 2-inch minnows. Very simple, very effective. Another one of my favorite little setups. Of course, I like to use these on a 1/32 ounce jig head. Works great. Small profile, has a great action in the back, so these guys like to shimmy really well. Any subtle movement of your rod tip gets them working no problem. Those are great. And another little bait I'm trying out right now currently. There's a few of them, but I'll grab the other one right now. Here we go. This is from a Chinese company, I believe. They're called Nobies. Got these from AliExpress, really cheap. Figured I'd give them a try. They were just a little 2-inch worm, and honestly, they look like tiny little micro Senkos. Only 2 inches long. Pretty cool, interesting colors. Look at it right here. It's like a teeny tiny Senko. They used to make 2-inch Senkos, but again, they discontinued them. I wasn't able to find them, unfortunately. That would have been awesome. I would have really loved to have those. And if you could, I would just stockpile them right now, but I can't find them. I think they're pretty much long gone. Kind of sad, but it is what it is. That's just the way fishing sometimes. Things aren't popular enough, they don't sell enough. They just discontinue it. Don't know why. They work great. They really do. All right, and then here's another little guy. This is from Japan. These are called the TetraWorks Mobies. It's originally intended for saltwater fish, for like your closer inshore type of fishing that they do in Japan for little rock basses and such like that, little horse mackerels. I've got a couple fish on these guys, pretty good. I just need to get these guys in more colors, but as you can see, they just, I'm not even moving the thing, and it's like just shimming and shaking all around the tail. Great little jig head setup. But the unique thing about these baits is if you see, there's a little slit right there at the top. So what that can do is you can rig these in a couple different ways. So if you use a jig head, you can fold back the head like this and put the jig hook from here and out. So basically it'll have this like kind of slightly deformed kind of lip kind of shape. And what that'll do is it'll kind of help displace water in a little bit more different, more profound way. So it'll give it like another different type of action, kind of looking like it's dying, fleeing bait fish. So it'll kind of help trigger that feeding response more to the fish, that predatory drive, to kind of encourage the fish to want to bite it, because the fact that it's dying, easy food, not much energy put out to eat it. So makes sense. Usually when it comes to Japanese fishing tackle, they're usually pretty on top of it, and they like to innovate things, as you guys have probably seen from a lot of other soft plastics lures that they make. They just seem to pioneer things and they just work. But then again, it's also because where they fish, the waters are super pressured and they have to do whatever it takes just to get those fish. It's tough. I know how that feels where I fish. That's that Lake Bevo that you guys see me do in my videos. It's a pretty tough place, to say the least. Pretty tough. But if you use the right tackle, you gotta do a lot of trial and error, try different lures. And so far, I've been slowly finding out and seeing what works for me at different times of the year. It's always a trial though. Much, much more to go into. And as time goes on, I'll even figure out more and more and be able to catch more fish, have more success. And of course, when I find out these things, I'll definitely share them in other future videos. That's part of my thing. I always like to try to find the best. After all, I am the BFS prophet, and I do everything BFS, and whenever I find anything that's worthwhile or useful for you guys out there, I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna show you guys. I want you guys to have more success on the water. And of course with BFS gear, preferably. That's just me. It's my favorite way of fishing, as you guys know, because it works and it's fun. All right, let me do a quick little once over really quick in terms of what I use for, like hooks and whatnot. Nothing crazy, very simple. Not a lot to it for me with these kind of fishing. Give you some little tips, anything I can do to help you guys. That's why I'm here. So what I particularly love to use that have worked great for me are these little jig heads right here. And these little guys are from Euro Tackle. these are a little 1/32 ounce number 6 hook tungsten jig head. These guys are great. Not cheap, granted, but they do work. I love what they do for the bait. They have a small head profile, so it gives it that smaller profile. They sink a little bit faster, which I really love because they're a denser material versus traditional lead. And you don't have to use these, but that's what I prefer. Anything to make the profile as small as possible to just attract more fish of varying sizes. I can go from catching small little dinks to pretty fat little pigs. It really doesn't matter. Just having that bait at the right place, the right time, knowing where the fish are hanging out is all that really matters at the end of the day, especially in your pressure waters. The more pressure it is, from what I've learned, the more it seems like these bigger fish, big bass in general, will actually go for smaller things because it's a small, easy presentation. It's an easy meal for them. It doesn't have them being reluctant when people are throwing your traditional size lures. They see everything, these guys. So you want to try to do everything you can to kind of trick these guys into biting your stuff. And when you show them something a little bit smaller, they tend to go for it. Easy meal. They don't have to put much effort into it. Something they may have not probably have seen, because I like to throw a lot of different baits, a lot of different stuff that a lot of people aren't really throwing that I've noticed fishing. So of course I'm gonna go for it and be different. Give them something they haven't seen, kind of get them excited, spruce it up for them. For the hooks, when I'm using a weightless setup, like I said, for the iShads or the Gary Yamamoto's, I like to use these little Owner number 4 rigging hooks, as you can see here. It's a very small offset hook. Use it for my weightless Texas rigs, weedless style, which is great, very small. They fit in those baits, no problem. Here's my iShad. As you can see, it's already rigged up with the hook. Very nice profile, perfect size, not too big, not too small. Has enough of that hook real estate to get some good hookups with it. Never have issues. Always works great for me. A lot of trial and error, guys, and still finding more ways to advancing what I do and to catch more fish and be more successful. And when I fish in general, another thing I like to do is I like to use little snaps. Just the fact that it saves time on tying, it's a little more efficient for me. I can just kind of switch baits on the fly, just so that way I'm wasting less time just figuring out what's gonna work for them. So what I have here are these little small 00 snaps from Cultiva. It's an Owner company from Japan, and I found these snaps to work really good. I like them. They're really small, and they have a breakage strength of 19 pounds, so that's more than enough strength while keeping the profile small, because I don't want this big old dangling snap hanging around just causing any sort of distraction from the lure presentation. I want my bait to be as natural as possible when I'm fishing my baits. So for me, the smaller the better. You don't have to use that size, but I recommend it just to keep your profile, your bait, as small as possible. Keep it slender, keep it straight line, keep it so it doesn't affect the action of your lure too, because that's very important, as I've come to discover in my fishing endeavors. A lot of time, guys, a lot of time, and I'm still learning. It's a never-ending battle. And what I like to do for you guys too, don't use a lot of hard baits all the time, but I like to from time to time. They're still really fun. Hard bait fishing is really fun. You just get such good action and such good strikes on those, hard baits. So in general, what I like to use, and what I showed you in my last video when I was reviewing the Corrado, is I love to use these Lucky Craft pointed 48s. One of my favorite hard baits. It's my go-to for sure. If I'm gonna use hard baits, I usually end up fishing these, and I do pretty well. When the bite's on for these, and they're keening on your jerk baits, let's say, they work great, they're fun, get that good twitch pause action like I like to do, and I showed you guys before. Works great. Love it, love it, love it. Definitely what I'm gonna do too is I'm gonna start dabbling more into small crankbaits. So the lure I'm gonna try soon when it warms up a wee bit is this cool little river to sea that I've had for actually a while. And this guy is called the Humbug. It's a mini 35F crankbait, you know, pretty shallow diving. I would say this thing dives no more than 2 feet, I would say. Cool little lure, looks promising, should work pretty good, but won't know until I try it, right? So I'll definitely be giving that a try and seeing what works for me, because I don't know until I try, right? I love using little tiny spoons of any sort if they're working good. And a cool little lure I discovered that I want to try in terms of spoons are these little fish band spoons that I found. I found these on a place called Dong Kung Fishing. It's a Chinese shop. They have a lot of cool like Chinese reels and rods that are really good prices, very budget friendly. So if you guys are looking for a budget setup in terms of reels and rods, definitely go there. And they also have these cool little guys. So this little guy, it's a 1.5 gram jig, and they come in an array of colors. So there's this green, gold, blue, with like a gold belly, as you can see. They have a cool little 3D eye on them. And they have these cool little double single hooks that they put on there. So they put 2 hooks and they're little tiny single hooks with a little feather on the end. And the barbs are really tiny, so that way it's not super, hard to unhook the fish. A lot easier, but yet at the same time it keeps the fish pinned, so you're not having to worry about losing a fish. So we have this classic red and silver color. It's usually a good classic color that always works. We have this cool pink and gold right here. This one looks really cool. Just in person it looks really cool. It has just a great pop to it, great flash, pretty cool. So I can't wait to try those out when it warms up a little bit for me. Pretty much what I like to use for the most part. Nothing too crazy, but in my endeavors, of course, when I see new lures that look worthy, I'm gonna give them a try, see what they do. Don't know until you try it, right? But in the time being, this is what I use. These are my go-tos. They never fail me. And of course, as time goes on, I'll find more and more lures for you guys to use and share those things with you. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I really appreciate that. And also too, very soon, I'll be doing a review on this little budget guy. This is the Clamber Hyper Micro, because I do want to have more budget reels for you guys to share. Because I know there's guys out there that are kind of swayed with BFS because it's too expensive. I understand. Well, I want to show you what's out there in terms of budget stuff. There's a lot more reviews coming. Nice high-end reels from Japan all the way to your budget-friendly reels from China. And there's some good stuff out there. There's a couple good reels that have proven themselves very well. And for the price, you can't beat it. So in turn, stay tuned, guys. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Let's get this community going. BFS is such a great way of fishing, and I just hope people will catch on to it, become more mainstream. And as time goes on, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna keep showing you guys, try to show you things that I learned and teach you guys, because in the end of the day, it's about the quality and the time of fishing. That's the best part about BFS. It's more enjoyable. I have a great time with it, and I know you guys will too, and probably already have, because it's fun. It's a baitcast, and it's ultralight. You can't get any better than that. It's like the best of both worlds to me. So that's why I love it so much. And until next time, I'll see you guys soon. Reviews coming very soon right at you. Stay tuned.